Hello there and welcome to Fairyland Cottage, and thanks very much for joining me here today. It was the perfect sunny day here in July in Ireland, so I thought I would take the opportunity and just show you around the garden. Anytime we go to the beach, we'll collect a stone or a shell and I just lay them out on the decking. And here is the hydrangea, and this is in full bloom here in July. And I got this from a clipping from a neighbour's garden. And hydrangea is great to grow in Ireland because the plant loves the rain. So this is a bee-loving plant. It's Veronica spicata. I've shown it a lot over on Instagram. And any plants or flowers that I know the names of, I will let you know. But please feel free to leave the name of any plants or flowers that I don't. So here is the herb garden just outside the back door. And at the moment I've things growing like sage. And use that in teas or cooking. Some chamomile is great for relaxing tea. Lemon balm, another relaxing tea. And some St. John's wort, same as the others. I have a lot of relaxing herbs here in the garden. And then some parsley, which is lovely in cooking. And we're just waiting for the second bloom of this lovely red rose. And here on the table I have this gorgeous tiny oak tree which I grew from an acorn which we found on the land a few years ago. So it's doing really well. And then some succulent that I got from a friend's garden. And here's the lovely archway. We've got wisteria going up at one side and then jasmine the other side. So they've already had their bloom. And we actually built this archway with sticks before, but then it fell down after about 5 years. So we reused an old archway and just wrapped twine around it, and it's working really well. So this is our very simple shed. It's a little potting shed, so it has a piece of perspex on one side, and I use it to grow all the seedlings before I put them into the polytunnel. So this little bit of kale. And I'll also use this place to dry some herbs. This is some lovage I have growing in the garden. It's like celery, it's great for soups. And this is some eucalyptus. Some dried lemon balm, and then some St. John's wort. So I'll just dry these, crumble them up, and then use them in teas. Now this is the little pathway from the decking to the garden. I absolutely love it. It's mostly wildflowers, little bits of grasses or moss growing up through the decking. This is some mint. Mint is something that will just spread madly. And this is the little section behind the mint where I throw any leaves or grass clippings. And it's a great way of getting compost. All you need to do is turn it regularly just to aerate it. So I don't put any food scraps in this section. And what I love about keeping a garden wild is something like here's chamomile just randomly grew in another pot. So these are all flowers I've collected over the years, and there's some red nasturtium in the background. And this is some sorrel. I love the way just little flowers will grow out of stones. And some ferns. And you remember the little bug hotel we built? Well, the solitary bees have already laid some eggs and some seem to have already left. And then some more oak trees, some more yellow nasturtiums. And these were all clippings I took from neighbour's garden. So I'm going to bring you now through the little pathway into the fairy garden. And this is my favourite part of the garden. It's just a tiny little section of forest. And it's quiet, just gets a little bit of sun. A lovely little horseshoe that my friend gave me. They always bring good luck. And there's loads of mushrooms growing in the fairy garden, and what they say in fairy folklore is that the fairies actually live underneath the mushrooms. And this is Self Heal. And this is growing all over the ground. It's a wonderful herb, so I'll leave a link down below to a video that shares all about that. It's just very simple. And every so often you'll just see an odd little foxglove. And this is the little oak tree that I planted years ago. It's only growing so slowly because it's not getting much sun. Got a little bit of bamboo growing. So the fairy garden is just my little quiet place, and I just let everything grow wild. Next, let's go into the Polytunnel. Now, we've been growing here for a few years, and each year it's trial and error. We've got at the back there some parsnips, carrots, some yellow courgette we're growing this year. Things like purple basil. If you saw my Instagram stories, the rabbits ate most of it. Some cucumber and other herbs and tomatoes and rocket and kale. And this is potato here, that's potato flower at the front. So this is the main section of the garden. And these are all flowers, again, I got from a friend's garden. It's a lovely way to share flowers. All you need to do is dig up a little bit of roots and then transplant them in your garden. And give them about a year before they really take hold. This is some catmint, another flower that the bees love. And this is some yarrow on the left, some rosemary behind. So it's a lovely little section I'm just growing beside the polytunnel. And then what I'll do is I'll leave loads of long grass, and I was just searching through and I found some sorrel. And I'm going to bring you up the garden. There's not much flowers growing here. I'm gradually incorporating more flowers into the garden. So at the moment it's a lot of wildflowers, some herbs and a lot of long grass. There's some mint there, some nasturtium in the background. And here is my favourite section of the whole garden, just sitting on the bench and looking at the view. This beautiful old apple tree. This was here when we arrived. And it's always very peaceful sitting on the bench underneath the apple tree. We've got about 3-4 apple trees at the moment. And we just let the garden grow wild. It's really quite simple, and yet it feels really nourishing and calming. So thank you very much for coming around the garden with me. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more of the garden, I share more over on Instagram. So thanks as always for watching. Chat as always below or on Instagram. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video.